Hello, I'm Ringru.
And I'm Graham.
Here today with another 1v1 from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord Elite Tournament. We are on a field of paddies, and who is playing on his paddy rack?
So in the right side ring, in the red, we have Nick the Man playing with Pat Armored. And in the blue here, we have Krot playing as USA General.
Yeah, very odd choice of decks, and also F16 coming out right at the start to try and block the skies.
Yeah, an immediate F16 start there
Whoa!
for Krot. Oh, and an EF11
What?
and a Nighthawk. I told you in the before, this is a meme. So the 111's out right here. It's obviously trying to find any radar pieces. It doesn't actually see the Tunguska. Oh, it does have it on, but it gets the tail of the 111 there, shot into it. Nighthawk dropping. The Tunguska might get the Nighthawk here. No, missile
No.
missed.
What a ridiculous opener. You can kind of get a Raver on this map because it's very narrow. You don't exactly have a lot of frontage to cover, but still, I didn't. Oh, he's over. He's got an A10 now. Okay, it's not over.
No, it's only going to be. It's basically a bunch of airplay right here. The Cobra's going to try and stun all this infantry. The T80s, the smoke needs to go in the T80s right now. Really nice smoke placement there by Nick. Ton of stuff going on here. So Thunderbolts are out, but they're just hitting the Zanshi, so that's basically worthless. They're moving over the BVP-8. Okay, so now he's going to back up a little bit here. The BVP-80s have silos over there in Alpha, so that's a little bit of protection. But honestly, Nick just needs to stay. Well, actually, the Thunderbolt wastes all of its ammo on transports, on IVs.
He did. You know, he did get a gun run, so at least you got to hear the brew.
The Tunguska M is coming back out, though, and both the Raven and the Nighthawk were damaged by the previous Tunguska, which is the only thing that Nighthawk killed. In their double Cub call out as well. I mean, it's a lot of points in the air, and there's still a lot of ground army here. The silo's actually getting one hit right there on the F-16. Let's see if he just call him to pull away. Yeah, there won't be a second shot fired.
It's a really unorthodox opener, to say the least. But yeah,
Yeah.
he did slow down, the push.
Was it
However,
actually worth it, though?
no,
I don't
'cause
know.
I
I'd love
don't
to see
feel
it.
so, because he hasn't really have any ground forces to follow up. It's like, doing the classic off-map artillery in SD2. If you're not going to push in after you've done the off-map, most of the time it's not worthwhile.
Yeah, I guess the question would be: does Nick follow up? Is he able to get his ground forces into like a good engagement here and maybe push in a Charlie? I mean, if I'm him, that's what I would do. Especially as Krot, he's bought a CV immediately to stop the double tick from Nick from getting too high. So, yeah, I'm curious to see if Nick goes in hot right now because it'd be a great time for it. There's only 20 riflemen. Obviously, he doesn't quite know that, but he must know based upon the amount of planes bought, and he really will know when this CV lands that there can't be any ground units in front of him.
Yeah, it's just open territory, and he just needs to take advantage of his opener. Because, yeah, he could blow right through into Bravo, and the Israel actually get a good foothold into Charlie, which is a pretty big deal. Once you get into that Charlie forest, it's hard to get out.
Yeah, and he kind of has to if you think about the air power that's been bought that will remain in play for the entirety of this game, right? Like you're talking an F111, F117, an A10. Yeah, we see the Nighthawk out here. Oh, so he does actually decide to cancel that order for it. That's plus the F16. That's a lot of air power brought out, and you don't want the U.S. player to have that for the full 40 minutes, right? That's a lot of pain that can maybe cause you. So you really want to punish them on the ground before that air power really starts to accrue its value.
Yeah. We're seeing the Nighthawk coming in.
Yeah, it's gonna hit these Lee Ren right here, and yeah, they just got annihilated.
Pops fire, but only get one hit.
They did get a hit though, so the Nighthawk will be down at least for a while right there. And we talked before the game. I'm a big fan of the Cub. I think it's can be a little undervalued at times. Obviously, there's so many decks where you really won't bring it out because there's better options. But at 45 points plus, I think he brought it with a vet, I believe. I don't remember what the Cubs base vet is, but he does have 6 of them, so it's a lot of them they could put out and just kind of cover the field with.
Yeah. And he definitely is going to need all the anti-air, considering just the amount of bloody aircraft available. Also free. Take a look in Delta here as
Yeah.
Blackhawk going in for the home run.
Yeah, he's going for a home run shot here, but then unfortunately for him, that's a tank. So it's not going to get too much done. Plus, there's a Zanshi squad there to protect it with a P. That's basically a Chinese copy of a PKM right there. That Thunderbolt dived in for something, but I don't know what it was. And I really think Nick's given a lot of time here to Krot. Ravens back out here, so we're looking to see Cubs have all their radars off. Oh, Cubs are actually firing here. One missile away, trying to hit the Thunderbolt. Misses. And he needs to micro the radar back off, and he does. Yep. So really, really nice, actually, radar micro there from Nick. He got caught with the Tunguska M, but he kind of had to have it on there in that initial air engagement.
It really cannot bugger about with the Raven, because that thing will ruin your day if it actually gets a hit. But hey, I guess the A10 can also act as seed.
Yeah, the A10 decided I don't need radar A. You know, I don't need anti-air whatsoever. I can just go ahead and engage on my own. I am a seaplane.
It's like War Thunder.
Yeah, it is like War Thunder. Tunguska getting some shots and doing another good round of damage as well there. The Cubs have not proven to be very effective so far, making my prediction or my support of them look really bad for the viewers.
It's just very good micro of that Raven, and just honestly the air power in general. Because using aircraft ever since, you know, airland battle, it's always been very finicky for the Eugene system. They always seem to go left when you want them to go right. And
Yes.
he has been microing them very effectively, and he hasn't lost run yet, which is pretty damn good.
No, it's very impressive, and there's many a YouTube or let's say a Eugene streamer that has raged at the air micro in their games, right? So
Yes.
It always seems like planes want to do the exact opposite of what you want them to do. I like this DAP. This DAP's actually being pushed up here, being a little aggressive, pushing back the recon infantry here. Oh yeah, and it's getting some good damage in there with its 30 mil autocannon. It probably will kill the recon unit. Yeah, it won't be able to get to the forest line. It's a nice little pick.
Yeah, not bad. He's actually... I mean, he hasn't even brought a tank. He's just been... Oh, no, he does have
HC.
Never mind. But it's still mostly just helicopter. He's bringing in more Black Hawks to go around the bloody flank, because right the hell we're not. And also just, you know, constant air power.
Yeah, I really like what Krot's done here. He's been very aggressive off the start. It felt kind of insane, like the opening push, but he has been punished for it. So he now has a lot of air power that he can dip into at any time against a deck that really doesn't excel at anti-air. You know, we know from his deck that Nick the Man only has the MiG-29, Polish MiG-29 card for ASF against a F-16 card and the F-15C at Elite. And the Cubs haven't really able to get much done yet. He does have Tunguska M's, so there's options here, I think, for AA in terms of Nick, but he's really kind of allowing Krot to get a ground force back up and onto the front.
Yeah, he's definitely squandering a great opportunity to plow through into Charlie.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, with God Vision, we can see he has, you know, very much numerical advantage to push on through. And yeah, it's just giving Krot time to bring up the rifleman spam to hold the forest like it's Vietnam.
Yes, they definitely look like they're back in 1975 right there. They're all over the place, but they have AT4s instead of laws. So, actually, well, no, those are base riflemen there. There's the rifleman I knew, Little Village. But yeah, even now, I think Nick could break the position here, but it's going to be a lot. It's going to cost more. 5 minutes ago, he could have probably done it with some smoke from the prom with minimal losses. At this point, I still think he probably can make it happen. I mean, the 3 T-80Vs, but that is an HC Abrams in there, plus there is 30 riflemen. With the silo actually opening up here on the Super Cobra, this could be a really nice pick here because its whole purpose is to shut down the Cubs. The Cubs band coming out, the silo firing again, and it does get them the kill. Really nice pick there for Nick.
Yeah, I was honestly kind of skeptical about him taking Man-Pads in a non-mechanized deck, but it's working out to prove to be, you know, a very effective anti-aircraft system, especially just how many you can spam.
Yeah, you get a lot of them. He puts on the BVP as well, so it gives him a nice little extra IFV to support his infantry, which is basically, you know, his infantry's garbage for the most part, right? Besides the protect. Oh, massive air push coming in here. This could be really critical. Tunguska opening fire. Nighthawk does go down. Tunguska is still alive. Cubs are opening up now as well, trying to get the A-10. Multiple missiles away. F-15 does get away. A-10 is still in danger. If this Cub connects, nope, it does miss there. Really nice engagement there from Nick.
Holy crap, that air power completely got... That was such a decisive engagement here. Blew up all the infantry, the T-80Bs are heavily damaged. They are bugging out of there, and that's going to allow Krot to take the ground into Bravo, which I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, but on the other side, the Nighthawk is dead, right? So
Yeah.
that is a nice pick off there for Nick. Want to see if Krot's able to fully take advantage of the pressure now. He doesn't have a lot of infantry here, and the C-80 is coming for a flank shot onto this HC. He's going to get a side shot here. The
Oh.
BVP, and it gets the kill. Yep, that's what I was worried about. It took the bait for the BVP. The Czech RPG infantry moving up too. Really nice moves there by Nick.
It's definitely saved him quite a bit of headache, because that's really going to slow down Krot's advance. He's bringing up an IP Abrams, but does not have the same firepower compared to the HC. So Nick isn't completely buggered here, but also same thing with Krot. He is starting to take some aerial casualties, but he can still, turn his strategy towards more of a ground-based run, which I think he really should be starting to do. And that's what he is doing, he's getting another HE Abrams, because why not?
Yeah, I would just say I think though the past 5 minutes, the loss of the Super Cobra 8C and the Nighthawk, that's a lot of invest points right down the drain right there. And while it did get, obviously they accrued value, I think that Nick is happy with that trade. He has lost a little bit of ground in Bravo, but they are, he still is up 50 points currently in the game. They're sitting here even keeled. We see the BVPs with that's Proletary 90 coming out to push that for us. I would say maybe dip into the armor tab a little more now, right? Like leverage that armor firepower. I still think he can blow through Charlie. Like absolutely. I think if he gets enough forces up here in Krot, I think he's deciding I don't want to fight in Bravo. And we see an IP going to Golf, another one being called out. It's going to head to the Golf Foxtrot border range. I think he's going to look to maybe push over there.
That'd probably be a rise. I mean, Bravo just be way too much of a meat grinder for him. Especially if like the HE Abrams at close range, as you can see, a T-80B shot from the side is more than enough to put you out of action. And the T-80B is only 75 points, while the HE is double the price.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also see the Polish MiG-29 has been brought out for some ASF duties here over the Alpha Point, which is a nice little call out there from Nick. I think he feels a little more comfortable, especially with the AA net that he has. We see there's 2 Tunguskas called out on the map currently. But look at those patents, all 3 patents of BVPs. That's actually a nice little force there, Hotel. But yeah, so multiple Tunguska M's, multiple Cubs, a bunch of infantry now rolling in. A little more armor coming up, base T-80. I think Nick's getting ready for a nice little push here. Honestly, if he just brought a little Baratino up, I think he could, be a little coup de grace.
Oh yeah, just soften up with some hot thermodynamic action and just push on through. Once again, it's just going to come down to the momentum. Will Nick actually push? Because at the start of the match, he didn't really leverage out momentum. I just feel like he's been a bit passive in this regard.
Yeah, that's honestly, it's one of the big differences between top SD2 play and top Red Dragon play, is that at the very top of even the SD2, there's typically big pushes from both sides. Because of the lethality in Red Dragon, the best players don't like to make big engagements, right? It's more about small skirmishing, picking off individual units here or there, and snowballing that into victory. So it leads to a very different play style when you watch in a viewing experience. But I think that Nick here should go for a decisive push, because I think he can crush this entire force. And if he gets into Charlie, the game's pretty much going to be over.
Yeah, it's such a good position to get into Charlie, especially if he can start. I mean, he actually doesn't do too bad in the forest fight, because American infantry isn't that great, and he can still bring a lot of IFEs. But if it gets to open ground engagements, well, I mean, he does have a lot of tanks. He doesn't have maybe the quality compared to A2 Abrams, but you have a lot of tanks of ATGMs.
Well, and actually a Paladin called out here by Krot to kill the FOB the FOB that he spotted in Nick's base. Yeah, so if I'm Nick, that's a big sign there that Krot's going for the long game. He thinks his better quality units, his superior, technology, having access to, the Nighthawk's dead, right? But all the different things that the United States can put into the field is going to win him the game the longer this goes on. If I'm Nick, I think it's really time to start looking and say, hey, where can I really hurt Krot? Because Krot doesn't seem to want to buy ground units.
Oh.
Or frontline units,
rifleman.
put it that way. Yes, unless I'm rifleman. Yeah, so we see here, I really think he needs to get some of his other assets engaged. He took a kind of a bad fight there. The Zanshi and Liren, they're going to die, the rifleman there. I mean, they're obviously getting some damage in There we go. The Czech infantry pushing up. BVP is going to go in as well. Let's see where the Prom's going to smoke. He is going to lose that. Yeah, the FOBs are going to be dead here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting call out, especially considering that FOB is only 75 points. So that's a heavy investment. Oh, 120, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, he's definitely getting some value out of that Paladin from knocking out the fob. Be about whether he can continue getting value, because as we've seen time and time again, when people invest in heavy artillery, it mostly misses and hits.
Yeah, and honestly, the Paladin could have done major work here in this infantry engagement for Krot. It's busy killing the FOB, which will obviously accrue value, like you said, but there's been plenty of targets here that those 155s, actual infantry units for them to hit. The riflemen are going to get cleaned up here. There's 3 Abrams basically have now become the front line. It looks like Krot's actually playing the armored deck, not Nick the Man.
Yeah. He's also playing the airborne deck as well, apparently.
Oh, the Paladin stopped.
Oh.
It has changed. It is shooting at the front line now, but the FOB is left at 1 HP.
The FOB is like, don't move.
Oh, and the Raven's up in the air at the same time the MiG-29 is. R-27R out for it. That does miss, so it should get away. But that's a big indicator there to Krot that he can no longer just fly that Raven in whenever he wants to.
Yeah, MiG-29 is some like airspace, a little bit hot and heavy. We're seeing the riflemen actually getting split up into separate groups, and yeah, honestly, it's great. A crazy little force of just all those Abrams. I think Krot is actually going to be gearing for another attack into Bravo.
Yeah, it does look like Krot's trying to get a force there together to push right back in. Yeah, he's going in hot right now. And that FOB surviving at 1 HP, we're talking about value. Like the 75 points would be worth it. I mean, if you're gonna commit, you gotta get the kill.
You gotta just unload your entire ammo, because you gotta make sure the FOB goes down.
Yeah, but no, it's gonna be up, and there goes the hotel push into golf. Into golf right now. Pad's leading the way. You see BVP's up there on the hill. I mean, the 1 Abrams should be. Yeah, we see the rifleman with the AT4 get a kill right there in the patent. So that does let Nick know. I really don't think he cares if they die. They're 15 points. They're more kind of just there to screen and detect anyways. Yeah, so the BVPs are actually going to kind of stay. He's just going to sacrifice the patents.
A little bit of a reconnaissance by fire.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be the patent crews.
No.
That was a really bad... You drew really bad lottery sticks right there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all 3 of them go down. Big L.
I'll be like those... They captured like a Pack 40 in Yugoslav Wars. Imagine being those guys.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough day right there. I mean, they use anti-tank guns in the current war.
They do?
Yeah, both sides. I think the Russians used the M100 up until like the 80s. I think for a lot.
Is that the
like,
100 mil or the 85 mil one?
Yeah, so M44, I think, right? The 100 mil. Yeah.
I
might have messed up the. Yeah, no, it's also in Eugen's hit game Warno.
Really? No way.
Yeah, I think it's better.
I didn't know about this game. Is this like a new game from him?
You should go watch Razman's channel to find a lot of hot Warno action.
I should.
But yeah, so Krot is pushing into Bravo ring.
Yeah, it's spread out all his
force. Yeah, he has. The Proms are shooting in. Paladin actually trying to counter battery the Prom right there. I don't know if that's really what I'd want to use it for, but Krot is going to try and get a pick there. He actually got really close to killing it. And this is so many riflemen plus Abrams right here. Krot should be able to get the win here. The TADB trying to kind of help stem the tide, but he's going to get pushed back there down to 1 HP. I'm not sure who slapped him, but somebody did. And oh yeah, the A's making a run for it.
Looking at.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to run for the rear right now. And his actually whole position is close to being compromised. Honestly, Nick should try and get the Tunguskas out.
When I've seen the tanks go in, the TADB does get blapped. And honestly, Krot has been so effective with utilizing all the firepower of his forces in a concentrated location. Nick's just been keeping his guys a little bit too spread out.
Yeah, that was a really good push there by Krot. When you look at the start of the game to now and you say, hey, Krot opened with 3 planes, and yet Krot at this point in time has a superior ground army to the red 4 armor deck. That quite doesn't add up, but he's been able to really get ahead, I think, here in the past 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, it's honestly very impressive. He's completely switched up to the ground game strategy, and it's working really well for him, even though it's just rifleman spam and Abrams. Oh, the artillery.
Yeah, the artillery comes back into action there. It does kill the supplies, doing some damage also to the Chinese command tank right there. Zhanchi's being put up here. That will stop the rifleman, so he will stem the tide right here. But he does need more armor if he wants to deal with these Abrams. I mean, there's 2 HC Abrams. I think there's 2... Is there 2 IPs? Yeah, there's 2 IP Abrams here. That's just... Plus riflemen for days. That's going to be really hard at this point in time for Nick to break with just T-80s and Zhanchi.
Yeah, and at close range, those Abrams to perform quite well and not getting side-shotted the extra machine gun, and just, the more than average armor helps out a lot in this grindy forest fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And so at this point, I think it's really curious to see both of them are just, piling up resources into this Alpha, Bravo, Charlie area. We see more armor called in from both. I mean, at this point, Nick's going to have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 T8 base T80s coming out onto the field right here. BVPs, more Banshee, that's Proletary 90. And that, honestly, I think the Baratino would be good.
Yeah, especially on this map. This is Baratino territory. It's narrow, choke pointy. There's a lot of forest to hide it in. He can completely just shut down these Krot offensives with just good Baratino play.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we see here, the Paladin's actually getting some damage and hitting the Zhanchi that are holding the baseline at the hill there. I mean, both players at some point, the amount of resources they're putting in, they're going to actually have a legit throwdown. As much as they don't want it doesn't like to happen. We're going to reach a point here where it's inevitable. I mean, if you just look at the amount of points both players have stacked between these two zones, it's absolutely insane.
It's an absolute arms race, and no one's really interested in continuing to fight over Gove. That's pretty thoroughly in Krot's possession.
Yeah, and there's not really a lot of tools in Nick's deck to deal with that, especially in the open space. Like you said earlier, I think he's worried about pushing that open area because just the tools that Krot has available in his deck. If he keeps it, in this very CQC heavy area, I think he feels a lot more comfortable there.
Yeah, I also forgot you're playing USA. You do have access to longbow, and that's perfect at shutting down any and all armored play.
Yeah, no, that's an absolute. It's pretty much the king at that. He added the M10 as well. I mean, the A10 and not the M10. The A10 as well. And you just have a lot of firepower available to you to deal with open armored pushes. Though, as we say that, Nick did buy a T-72B 87. So, and that's going to hotel as well. And these CAs are ditching. These CAs are going to hotel.
Oh, I think he's re-gearing for a hotel Gove push. Interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. As we see, Ray, that's what happens when we make predictions as casters. We like to try and flex our game knowledge to the audience, right? Give our opinion on where we think the game's gonna go, and just immediately, it's like the players are listening to us and decide, no, I don't want to do that. See, Nick,
we're making the mistake of not watching the replay in its entirely before it's casting, and then pretending we're omnipresent.
Right. That's a lot of effort, though.
It is. You have to write down notes.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
No.
Plus, you have to fake surprise. I gotta act like, that's insane. I can't believe Krot did that.
No way.
Tune in next time on Ranguru's YouTube channel.
Where we get it right all the time.
Yes,
Never
absolutely.
Wrong.
Never wrong. No wrong predictions here. We do see the proms opening up here, trying to suppress the other mortars that have been brought out here by Krot. The Paladin's been down for a little bit. It looks like he's going to go ahead and retarget. It's crazy how fast that heavy artillery eats through the FOBs. They just burn through supplies like it's nobody's business here. Actually, really nice hits there by the proms.
Yeah.
Bringing one down to half health, yeah. Actually, really good counter battery. Mortar on mortar counter battery.
Oh, Baratino. He's getting
there
it.
She is. Yeah. I think he was worried for a second, Rain, more than anything else when he pulled the T-80s up. I think he might have worried that Krot was about to make a push into Gulf. And then as the infantry pushed forward from Bravo, he's kind of like, nah, this is where the push is actually going to be. This is where the decisive engagement is going to go down here. Yeah, so Riflemen are pushing up here onto the hill line. Proletary 90 and Xanshi catching them as they come open, plus the T80s. They are so lucky neither of them has like a Smirch or a an attackums, because this is just these units are bunched up.
Yeah.
All these some cluster munitions, and this game could be over real quick for either of them.
Yeah, this is always like the interesting like playstyle on Paddy Field. It's complete polar opposite compared to, you know, Nuclear Inters coming, which is one of my favorite maps to cast. But even though it's a grindy map, there's still a lot which always goes on Paddy Field. There's a lot of depth to it. Yeah, there is. There's a surprising amount of depth to it, and they've been fighting nonstop. I would say they've had a couple of big engagements too, so it's clear they're also gearing up for, you know, there'll be at some point in this game, especially as Krot trying to catch the 1-point tick, which I think he's kind of content with, right? He's going to eventually catch the 116, I believe, if we do the math. It'll be close, right? But I think he should get there. For Nick the man. He can pretty comfortably get to 116. Get there. Yeah. So Nick has really had the onus is actually kind of on Nick to stop the tick. Oh, and we see another T-72 called out, B-87, going to Hotel. Nick is really considering about the golf push. Yeah, I kind of dig it, actually. I mean, of course, Longbow or A2 Abrams can shut that down, but it's definitely a good opportunity here, as this is much less, you know, densely populated compared to Bravo. Bravo pretty much, I don't feel like the front lines are going to change either way too much. It'll probably just, you know, stay the hill stalemate. So he needs to try to regain some momentum, and that golf push, you know, maybe his hole in run. Yeah, I would say I'm very scared for him doing the golf push. I think golf, going down the hill, obviously there's not really too many ATGMs, so there is a Bradley, so you kind of watch for that. But there are still 3 IPs there. You wait for them to get in range. He's going to have a bunch of airplanes to come out. Oh, we actually see an air sortie here from Nick. Oh, and the Baratino's going in right now. So we see those thermobaric rockets, right? Really just napalm here in this game. Getting a lot of stun damage there on a lot of armor for Krot. We're going to look for the second round of our salvo here. And there we see it. So T-80s are committing here, helping to get the Xanshi down. Yep, and there goes direct hits on the eyepiece. We're seeing direct not counter battery, but mortar fire into the forest. Probably just trying to stop any potential infantry going through here. But it's really the T-80s and, you know, on the hill going down. But oh my god, it's like missile commander, Graham. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. There's just so much artillery firing down on here. Like, you would think we were in Ukraine right now. All these T-80s bunched up, too. No infantry support. You know, Russians, please don't look at the game. Please avert your eyes. But we do see the infantry, Xanshi and Proletary 90, have pushed down a little bit here. But there's just not enough. He needs more infantry to cover. And these T-80s, they're just going to go in hot, Ray. They're literally going in hot. Yeah, they're driving right through the napalm. They don't care at all. That's 6 of them. I mean, it's quite the armored push. We're going to run right into an IP here. We'll see if how the engagement kind of goes. Yeah, there goes one. So shot is out by the IP, but it doesn't get the kill. Crossfire there from the M163s. Oh, and immediately 2 T-80s go down. One of them with its weapon jam. Yeah, that's just not a great push there of the T-80s. You probably run in a little bit too hot. It's just really too much firepower of all the Abrams, and those mortars are they're just constant. Yeah, it's nonstop artillery fire coming in here from Krot. At the same time, so much firepower from Nick has been put into this golf push. So, and now Krot's committing to the counterattack here. The Xanshi is getting eaten up alive as they cross this hill. The Vulcans just tearing into them. That's just absolute insanity right there. T-80's trying to back up. We're also seeing the hotel golf push finally, starting, but already kind of ending. We've seen a few ATGMs and some smokies going to hold that for the time being. Yeah, it immediately went south, and then we see a MiG-29. There was some type of an air engagement that we missed off down towards the bottom, but when MiG-29 did go down, the Thunderbolt actually backing out, though. So there's a little bit of a time here, I guess he could make... No, Nick's not going to commit there anymore. He decided, no, I don't want that smoke. Hmm.
Yeah, and Krot's looking really good right now. He's really in the driver's seat here. He's actually almost killed the CV with the nonstop Paladin shots right there, just the nonstop HE. Hawk 51's being called out here, but then we see the Patriot opening up right there, one hit, doing taking stunning the Hawk right there, bringing on the range speed. Yep, second hit takes it out. Bomb drop is away though for one of them, and it should hit the LAV here. And it will stop the point tick there, which is a slight reprieve, I guess. But long term, I'm not sure how beneficial how much that'll really matter.
Yeah, there's still a lot of frontline units, and the riflemen's backed up by their metal boxes will be enough to just overwhelm the Zanshis. Are just getting absolutely annihilated here. Honestly,
Yeah.
Krot's just been trading extremely efficiently. Like, his Abrams have mostly stayed alive, while the T-80s are just getting blapped.
Yeah, Krot's definitely, the past 15 minutes, traded really well. Thunderbolt also coming out now as well. He's really dipped into his rifle, a lot of Abrams, a lot of riflemen, M113s to help soak up damage, and then the Vulcan, little minigun action as well. Here we go, the A-10 coming in. A lot of AAs out, though, immediately hit right there, and that A-10 is not long for his... I mean, the amount of damage it soaks up even before that is just insane.
That's insane.
But that was War Thunder. We say that see things are War Thunder. That A-10 just diving in, getting kills. It took the entire all the AA from the enemy team to take it out. But Krot here, I think he senses that he's ahead. Yeah, he's pushing here. It's going to be a really decisive moment in the game here if he commits to this. The HCs are backing up to get repaired. Oh, yeah, I think he's... I mean, there's smoke right here. M113, I think, to kind of test the waters. He sees the 3 T-80s, which are all damaged. 2 of them are at 1 HP. The Baratino has been almost rearmed, Rang, but it's going to be a minute, take a little second before it fires, and it doesn't even have full ammo loadout.
Yeah, and we're also seeing, I kind of like what Krot does here, where he pushes up with the Abrams and then pulls them back directly from the front line. Like, he's not keeping them, like, fully exposed. He's leaving the riflemen in front to soak up any fire. He's bringing another CV, Krot is, but is he going to try to sneak out to Alpha?
I'm not sure what he's going to try to do. Maybe he's worried about losing another one, so he just wants to have it on tab. I mean, he has so many units on the map right now. He could probably break whatever position he wants to. I mean, I don't even know if Nick can get back into Bravo, right?
No, I think it's a lost cause.
So there we go. We see the push. I think he's finally kind of committing to it here in Hotel, but it's taking losses. He did lose one T-72. I don't remember when that went down on the 87s, but that is dead. So he doesn't have 2 of them. Zanchi pushing forward. BVP M80s. Maybe the IP hit squad was able to get one, because the 87 in the smoke at CQC, that's really not where it excels.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah, and there it goes. It takes... Oh, it's actually a miss by the Rifleman 90. AT4, though, connects there. The IP hit squad coming out of the smoke. It's like...
Oh, they're going to back off, yo.
They're going to back off flights on 1 HP.
Odin, they're coming back in now?
They're coming back. They're coming for that booty. Yep.
Yeah, the hit squad... Once again, I mean, they're using up all the fuel, but that just completely shut down. Well, almost. The Zanchis are going to get into the town, but they're probably not going to be longed for that town. Yeah, the Rangers getting hot.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get in there, but like the CV from Nick tried to just peek its head into Bravo and was immediately ran into Rifleman and was like, I'm out of here. Evacuate the dance floor right there. T-80, I mean, is barely holding that line. Hawk coming in. It gets his bombs off as the Patriot does hit it. Patriot might actually... it goes down. Yep, it's dead. Singer, I think, got the finishing blow right there. Patton's being brought up by Nick. I mean, the Baratino shots really didn't do anything right there.
No. Didn't have nothing to really follow through, and he barely has any... I mean, he has tanks and good amount of anti-air in Alpha, that's for sure. But infantry, to hold the front line, that's... not really what he's getting. He's getting a VP in to go. There's a little bit of AA, so maybe the VP can come in, but I don't think it's just going to have enough firepower, even without, anti-air threats for it to actually make a big impact.
Yeah, and the one Stinger squad can shut down the VP.
Oh, it's a Stinger squad. You're correct.
Yeah. I mean, technically there's 2, but from its approach angle here, it looks like you'd run right into the path of the most northern one. Though now he looks maybe a change up. But yeah, either way. And he's also a +2 going on for Krot here. So, I mean, Krot's really in the driver's seat. He doesn't even need to make offensive moves. He doesn't want to. Yeah, immediately the VP enters the battlefield, and that Stinger squad's like, hello, this is Afghanistan calling. And that VP's going down right away, yeah.
The true group of Crovy experience.
Yeah, you just saw it live right there. Well, I guess
Let's
not
do the
live
same
for
thing.
the Yeah, he's just going right back into it. No, this is, we don't like to necessarily call games too early, Ring, but I think this one's over.
This one's pretty much over. I mean, there's just no chance in how Nick DeMine can really pull this back.
No, and I think, overall, when you look at it, like, from the way it played out, he had a massive opportunity to deal critical, maybe game-ending damage to Krot in the opening minutes, because all that air spam got him was a couple of Xanchi squads and the Tunguska M. And really, instead he kind of sat there for about really a long period of time, and Krot just kind of outplayed him past the 25-minute mark.
Yeah, honestly, maybe we're getting into player psyche stuff here. It's just like a lot of shock and awe of just being hit by that much aircraft early on.
Yeah.
Where it's like, crap, what do I do now?
Right.
Even though, of course, once again, Caster's got vision. We can see it. Hey, you just invested so much in aircraft. You have nothing on the front line. Just full send it. But when you're in the driver's seat, sometimes it's just like, oh no, I'm scared about the aircraft. I need to buy Morantier and set it up.
Yeah, and you see that a lot in Steel Division as well, where one player dips in heavy into the air tab, and in a question that comes a lot because of the incomes in Steel Division is, when is it okay to push? When should I be dipping into my air tab heavily, right? And a lot of players, when you see early plane buyouts, especially if it doesn't get a lot of value, say, hey, I gotta go. Now there is a big difference in Wargame because of the lethality. So you might be like, I gotta understand from Nick's point of view, well, he's spamming a bunch of planes. If I push forward with my armor, a longbow's coming out, and that thing sees through everything. It's got like the best, thermal vision. God personally gifted it to that longbow crew right there. But I think you have to take the risk, Ring, because if you let the American players stack up those expensive air units, they used to accrue so much value as the game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, America is definitely the pinnacle in this game of the not super heavy, but a super unit playstyle. And we're seeing with the Abrams, the Raven, the Nighthawk early on, the Paladin, all very expensive pieces of equipment. He managed to use them efficiently, and they didn't get blapped.
Yeah, and really good use of... Yeah, longbow has been brought out here. You need to be a little bit careful. There's a Tunguska M, which is the the direct AA counter really to the longbow, but it's kind of pretty far away right there. I don't think he'll be able to get it over there, and it'll clean up these BVPs, yeah. I mean, I guess the VP could try and YOLO. I don't know, there's a DAP anyways. Never mind. And a Pivad. No, he ain't making it. Maybe deck choice too. It just seemed... I don't know what the two players are going on. Maybe it's for fun. I don't know all the Elite Tournament rules. But this is the Elite Tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe there's a certain rule set that I'm not privy to. But it definitely felt like the decks weren't even.
It's like both Mimi picks.
Yeah, I guess you don't really see a lot of just like at the top, just America, right? Like just USA.
Usually at least play NORAD.
They have NORAD, right?
Canadian infantry to back you up.
And the ADATs.
And the ADATs. The ADATs is okay.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's a neat unit. I like the Mexis a lot actually. But right. But the big thing I think with packed generals, packed, armored. I don't know, like, why not just go like Soviet armored then if you want to go an armored deck, or you go armor. I don't know. I'm just curious, just thinking out loud.
Because they're mainly just playing with Soviet tanks.
Yeah, right. It's almost all Soviet tanks, so you might as well get better Soviet tanks, right? Like if you're gonna go for armor. The BVP is the base BVP really that much better than just a BMP2? Or a BMP or BMP1 speed. I don't know. I'm just talking, but we do see a lot of riflemen coming out. The riflemen more than did their own, and there never were enough Proletary 90 on the map to actually matter. In the infantry engagements, there was only a couple of them brought out at an individual time. So honestly, the riflemen more than handled the Xanchi.
Yeah, I think it's also he has much more baseline infantry in his deck compared to Nick, and he can just survive grindy spam in Bravo, because Bravo's just a grind in the end of the day.
It is,
you just throw more dudes. Experience doesn't matter.
Yeah, and a big thing too, like you talked about with the silos, like sure it picked off the Super Cobra and that was a cool moment in the game, but how much value did it really bring to the battlefield? Like whereas having maybe another better baseline infantry unit would have been more beneficial to the deck.
Especially when you have Tunguskas. When you have Tunguska M's, you're pretty much set.
Yes, they do pretty much kill anything and everything. And yeah, when you see the KD, that's what it looked like after the 25. I think after about the 25, 28 minute mark, that's what it turned into.
Just complete and utter slaughter, but very good job for Krot. I'm quite surprised with such a silly opener he managed to, push so hard and get the dub.
Krot thought it was Baghdad in 91.
He's going Desert Storm. I think all his units were painted in desert camo.
He had the CNN camera crews live with his troops ready to roll right there. He was broadcasting to the Discord.
Yes.
Brian,
yeah.
Big question, real quick, before we end the. Was there a helo rush in that at the end of the game?
No. At the end of the game, no, because it's past the 15-minute mark, of course. But it was definitely an air spam rush, and I'm gonna have to check the rules for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please let us know in the comments if you thought there was a helo rush.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good game by both. Really good game. Really fun to watch, and Krot taking a pretty big W right there.
Indeed. And once again, Graham, thank you very much for joining.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And as usual, guys, please just take it easy.